Join me today as we talk about the needs for home preservation in our home. Today we are at the commercial kitchen located at Cornell Cooperative Extension of Broome County on Upper Front Street. Hi, my name is Ann Supa and I'm a master preserver at Cornell Cooperative Extension in Broome County. With the recent pandemic, we've seen an increase in gardening throughout Broome County. We would love to have people learn how to preserve their food for later use, but you need to do it safely. So this is Home Preservation 101, the basic equipment you will need to can or freeze or dehydrate your food properly and safely for your family. We're going to start with freezing. It's the one that takes the least amount of equipment. This is a simple blancher, and it's got holes in it, and you fill this with water, you put in whatever vegetable. I always think of green beans. You put them in there, you blanch them, put the top on, then when it's done, you take it out, pour it in, some ice bath, it stops its cooking, and you have something to put in your freezer. The drawback with freezing, you do need to have that extra freezer space. So that is something that you might want to consider when you're making your choice on which one works for your family. Next one is a hot water bath canner. It's a simple canner. You just mostly use it for jellies, pickles, or fruit that you want to can. You process your fruit or jams, and then you put it in here, you put it down in the water, it processes it, and then you bring it out, and you can leave it on your shelf for up to 18 months. So you don't need that freezer space, you just need someplace cool and dark to store your candy. The next one is, if you already have a large stock pot, you might want to consider buying this to put in it. It is a little rack that you would put into your stock pot. You need to have the jars off the bottom of the pot. So this way, you would only need this to purchase instead of the whole canner. These can be found on the internet or at your local stores. The next one is the newest thing on the market right now. It's called a steam canner. It doesn't need all the hot water like this, but I have not tried it because I just got it for Mother's Day. But it has, you put water in here, it makes steam, and you steam it, and it doesn't heat up your whole house, and you don't need to have the large amount of hot water. Again, these three options are for jams, pickles, and fruit. The next one, a pressure canner. A lot of people are nervous about using a pressure canner in a home, but the thing is, if you use it correctly, it can preserve those vegetables that you have extra in your garden, or you can actually can meat in a pressure canner, which is different, but a pressure canner is different than a pressure cooker. So you want to make sure if you're purchasing this that you get a pressure canner if you're going to can. So you would set your prepared jars in here, bring it up to the right pressure for the right amount of time. It seals the jar. It prevents any bacteria from growing in it, and it's safe to leave those canned vegetables and meat on your shelf for 18 months. So it's just a matter of which one you prefer, but if you're doing vegetables, you need a pressure canner to can it, or you have to freeze it. The last one, this is one of the ones that not a lot of people think about, a food dehydrator. I like my food dehydrator for fresh herbs, to add for seasoning throughout the winter. You can make jerky in it that's fairly easy, or you can make fruit leather for your children. And I do dehydrate vegetables like green beans and peas, and then I add them to my fresh soups during the winter, and that way I don't have a lot of things on my shelf or in my freezer because they can just be stored at room temperature. And the other things that you would like to consider purchasing would be a funnel. So when you're putting the fruit or vegetables in the jar, that it doesn't go all over. A jar lifter so you can lift the jars out of the hot water. A lid lifter. And a simple ladle. You can usually buy these through 4 items as a set in a store or any place online. I will give people the heads up. With the pandemic, a lot of people are thinking of doing this. So if you're thinking of doing this, you might want to do your research now before the end of the month of June, because people are going to be purchasing these things and you may not be able to purchase them when you need them for your canning or freezing or drying. If you have any further questions, you can contact me at my email, which will be posted at the end of the video. Thank you for listening and enjoy your fresh vegetables in the winter.